Well, good morning, you guys, and welcome to day 8 of our sourdough starter series. This morning, we're gonna feed our starter. I'm gonna go ahead and just use half-gallon ball canning jars instead of my Le Parfait because those are still in the dishwasher. We're gonna feed our starter the same thing, 200, 200, 200. And then what we're gonna do today, because my starter actually smells really good. It smells like yeast and with ever so slight, like a hoppy beer scent. It smells really good. And if you see it, it's looking really good. So, so today what we're gonna do with the pour off is we're gonna make some, this is gonna be a whole wheat sourdough buttermilk pancakes. And it's gonna be fantastic. I'm gonna make it for my kiddos and yeah. It's gonna be a good thing. So we're actually gonna do something now with the pour off now that it's ready. If yours still isn't ready, don't worry about it. Just keep discarding it until it is. But this one smells ready. It looks ready. We're at day 8 and I think it's ready to use. So we're gonna use it. I'm gonna, of course, feed it and possibly make some bread with it later and see how it does. But this morning we're gonna make pancakes. So, all right, let's feed our starter. So, I'm gonna go ahead and stir down my starter. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add 200 grams. Now I'm doing 200 grams because that's the amount that I'm going to need to harvest from this when I make bread, because I make 2 loaves at one time. But if you want to just feed your starter at this point 100, 100, 100, you can do that too. It's totally up to you, you guys. It's your starter. So, you know, you do with the amount of what will fit and suit your needs. Okay, so now I'm going to do about 200 grams of whole wheat. Okay, and then I'm going to do another 200 grams of lukewarm water. Okay, so okay. Take my spatula, go ahead and give this a nice stir. Now when I go to place this in my refrigerator, I'm just going to tell you how I'm going to do it. Now I'm not going to be placing mine in the refrigerator for a while because I plan on baking bread and playing with my starter, but if you do not plan on making bread and you want to store it in the fridge where you're only feeding it once a week, you're going to do the same process. Instead of doing the 200, 200, 200, you're going to take it down to 100. So 100 grams of starter to 100 grams of flour to 100 grams of water. You're going to give it a stir. You're going to give it about a half hour just so it can start feeding and get active. And then when it starts feeding, go ahead and put it in the fridge. That way, over the next week, it can feed slowly because the fermentation and the feeding will still take place. It just slows way down in the fridge. That way your starter can feed for a week without you having to feed it. And that's how you do it. It's that simple. And then when you're ready to use it, you bring it out of the fridge. You let it warm up to room temperature. And then you're going to, take off the pour off again, take it to 100, 100, 100, and feed your starter when it's out of the fridge. And then feed it one more time, 200, 200, 200, before you bake bread. So pull that starter out of the fridge like 2 days before you plan on actually using it. Is what I would do and what I plan on doing. But you do your own research and do what works best for you. Okay, so there is my starter. So, all right, so now I've got some Jessie here, and I do also have some Walter that I can also use, but we're gonna go ahead and use the wheat in our pancakes. So let me take you over and show you what I'm gonna do. So I am using my own homemade pancake mix, and I will leave a link up above and a card for you guys. If you have not seen how I make my own homemade pancake mix, you guys can just click on that video and watch how I make it. This pancake mix does not require anything other than water. So it doesn't require an egg. It does not require milk. It's got dried milk powder in it. However, you can doctor this up and you can add those things to it. It just makes a lighter, fluffier pancake. But I make this pancake mix for my kids so that they can make it on their own. My 16-year-old can make his own pancakes. We can take it camping with us. I don't need to bring a whole lot of, food with me in order to make pancakes. This mix is just a dump and add water, mix it and go. So, but when I'm at home, I do like to doctor it up. So that is 1 cup of pancake mix. Now to that, we are gonna go ahead and we are gonna add the pour off of our starter. Now, I'm not gonna measure it. I'm just gonna eyeball it because that's just how I cook. So, but if I had to guess, it's probably gonna be, I don't know, maybe 1/3 of a cup I'm gonna add to this in starter. Okay. Now, of course, if you were going to do a bigger batch, you were feeding more people. I'm just feeding 3 kiddos today, so I don't need a whole lot of pancake mix. So there's my starter, and then to this, I'm going to add some, I've got some homemade here, Bourbon vanilla. So I'm going to be adding about a teaspoon of that in here. All right, and then to this, I'm just going to get just a spoon out of my drawer here, and this is what I'm using. I'm using powdered buttermilk. I never keep the traditional buttermilk in my fridge because I don't use it often enough, but I love having the powdered on hand for mornings like this. So what I'm just going to be doing is adding just a heaping tablespoon of powdered buttermilk into this. And if you don't like powdered milk, or if you don't like buttermilk, you guys don't have to add that. I'm going to crack 1 egg into this. Now I'm going to be using a Danish whisk. So I'm just going to kind of break up that egg and get everything a little bit mixed in here. And then I'm going to go ahead and add water. Now it's usually about a cup of water, but I never really, like I said, don't really measure. I go by eyeball and feel. I just want a nice thick pancake batter. All right, so I'm just gonna take my spoon. I'm just gonna make sure everything is nice and mixed in here. And it looks great. So now what I do is I just let this sit on my counter while I get everything else ready. If I'm doing a big breakfast, I'd be getting out my sausage and hash browns and all of that. Today it's just pancakes for the kids. So I'm just going to let this sit. I'm going to get out my pan, get my dishes done, get my coffee going while I let this sit. And this will start bubbling and growing as that starter starts to feed. And it's going to make for amazingly light, fluffy sourdough pancakes that are going to be mixed with some buttermilk and some whole wheat. They're going to be delicious. I'll bring you back when I'm ready to fry up some pancakes. So now we are ready to make some pancakes. I'll just show you really quickly the mix, but the kids are up and active. And so now we are going to go ahead and we're going to make some sourdough buttermilk. I mean, it's a homemade pancake mix. It's homemade vanilla, bourbon vanilla, homemade sourdough. This is going to be fantastic. All right, so let me turn that down just a little. That's what happens when you get a little sidetracked with your children. So today is probably going to be the last day of feeding, just because, you know, 8 days, I think you guys got the gist of it. We are expecting a pretty big snowstorm. I think we're under a storm watch right now. So I'm going to be prepping for that. And my fibro and my arthritis are not doing well. So I might take a day or two break from filming and ride out the storm. But I'm going to be playing with bread. And when I do, I'm going to turn back on the camera. So what I want to know from you guys, and you guys leave a comment down below and let me know, do you want me to film as I'm testing out bread recipes, or do you just want me to come back when I find something that I really like, that my family really likes? Do you want to play with me? And we'll test some things out, and if it works, great. If it doesn't work, all right, well then we just won't make that again. Or do you guys just want to see recipes after I play with them and after we like them and, you know, they get the approval? So let me know down below if you want to watch me test recipes, or do you want me to come back once they're tested and I like them? So that's what I want to know from you guys. So look at these. Now they're going to be a little lighter because my pancake mix is made with all-purpose flour, but they are going to be wheat-ish, at least a bit. So, all right, I'm going to bring you back when I flip these babies. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and flip these. And let them cook on the other side. See how fluffy they're getting. Nice and fluffy. And there you have it. Some sourdough pancakes. I'm going to just put them all on a plate and then show you guys what they look like. But they are light, they are fluffy, they are wonderful, and your family will love them. It's a great way to use your leftover starter, your pour off, I guess you would say, your pour off. But you'll see, look at how nice and fluffy those are. Ooh, they're hot. Anyway, all right guys, I'm gonna keep making some pancakes here, and I will be seeing you guys in a few days. Definitely for Jarred Up January on Monday. That video will be coming out. I've got a video coming out on the 20th and on the 30th as far as canning goes. And then bread recipes are coming. So let me know. Do you want me to test them first, or do you want to play in the kitchen with me and test them as I go? Because I will do that either way. But I'm probably going to take the rest of the weekend off. And but I'll be back next week. And we'll be baking some bread. Either way, we're gonna bake some bread together. I want to play with the Pullman pan and get a nice loaf of sandwich bread out of my sourdough. That's my goal. So, all right, guys, let me go feed my children, and you guys have a fantastic weekend. Bye, guys.